Here's the 26 different books I read this year and whether or not I think you should read them. So to start out with fantasy, Crescent City, the whole series, if you like world building and like can get through it and high fantasy, these books are so good and I 100% recommend them. 5 stars. Next up, I read the Crave series. This one is really fun to read if you like paranormal like romances or if you like vampires, kind of like Twilight vibes. But I will admit, it is not the best literature. There are some parts that are cringy. I gave all of these like 3 stars. By the time I got to the end, I was honestly really into it and gave Cherish a 4 star. But it was just a really fun, easy read. Next up, I read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I thought both of these were really good, so if you're into dragons, fantasy, I would absolutely read these 2. And then the third book, Onyx Storm, is coming out in January, and I will be picking it up. I also read both Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. I thought these books were so sweet and so cute. So if you love more of like a YA kind of fantasy novel, and also these were more realistic. Like I wouldn't necessarily call them super fantasy because the girl doesn't have like crazy powers. It's centered around like a magical typewriter and it is so cute. Then on to mythology, I only read 1 this year and it was A Spartan Sorrow and I absolutely loved it. It honestly has gotten me back into like this style of writing. I'm actually gonna go to Barnes & Noble later and look for more books like this because it was so good. I rated it 5 stars, so if you're into any sort of mythology, I would definitely take a look at this, especially if you like things told from like a woman's point of view. I thought it was really good. Back to series, I also read the entire The Naturals series, and it was really good if you like more YA books. I think I gave these all like around 4 stars because they were really good and intriguing. They just didn't keep me like that entertained for a super long time, but they are fun, easy reads, and I would definitely recommend them. Okay, and then for more like classic kind of books, I read Lord of the Flies for school, which I honestly did really enjoy. I read The Crucible, which I really enjoyed, and a lot of my classmates did not like it, but I thought it was really good. And then I also read this book called Tender is the Flesh, which is a little weird, and like if you're into like weird books, more like psychological kind of books, I would take a good look at this. I don't know how much I can explain on here because it gets kind of creepy, but it is really good. So the remaining books are pretty much all romances. So this one's called After I Do, and it's about a couple whose marriage is kind of breaking apart, and it goes through that, but it's still really good. It's more realistic. I gave it about a 4 star. Then next we have Emily Henry's People We Meet on Vacation. Love this book, love any Emily Henry book. The second she publishes one, I go and buy it, so I always recommend these. 5 stars. Okay, I have no words for this one. I thought, like, looking on TikTok, I was like, oh, there's a big fan base, like, it's kind of controversial, let me go read it. I did not recommend. The storyline was not good. It was not my thing, too gory for me. Like, I didn't like it. Maybe you might if you're more into, like, dark romances, but personally, it wasn't my thing. Okay, next up, I read both King of Sloth and King of Greed. I don't really remember reading these, which might say enough about them, but they were good. I remember I did enjoy reading them, but it's not some literary, like, masterpiece. But if you just want a romance novel, they're good. Last book for this year is Before We Were Innocent. I love this book. I've loaned it out to so many people. My mom read it. She loved it. It's more realistic. You kind of go through the story and put the pieces together yourself. It's more of a mystery. I don't know why I put it with the romance. I just wasn't thinking. But I absolutely love this book. I'm going to go look into the author and see if she has more books because I really loved it. I love the way it was written. It jumps through time. So it'll give you the little like 2008 and then you continue to go and it gives you like, well, that's another 2008. But 2018, so you jump 10 years and you see what happened while these girls were on a trip in Greece and what's happening today. And I think this one is so good, I completely recommend it.